Look, I know some of you, not many, but a few, sometimes say I'm a little too positive when it comes to sharing my thoughts after a Bulls loss, which I don't really agree with, by the way, because I've been pretty critical when the Bulls have a bad loss. But this is an encouraging of a loss if there ever was one between all of the players that were out tonight for the Bulls. The fact that this was part of an insane stretch of 4 games in 5 nights. The fact that the Sixers, aside from Matisse Thybulle, were fully healthy. A team that, yes, they just lost 2 straight, but have been one of the hottest teams in the league. Joel Embiid has had one of the best stretches in his career playing like an MVP. And the Bulls not only held their own, they kept it competitive throughout the game and played very well on Embiid. Again, doing all of this while being shorthanded. Like, one of the biggest things I've talked about as an area of concern for the Bulls going into the playoffs anyway, that they are not going to match up well against the Sixers, Bucks, and the Nets. And really, for the Sixers, it's because of Joel Embiid and the fact that he just continues to pummel the Bulls every time we play them. But in this game, you saw something different. Don't get me wrong, Embiid still dominated and did his thing like he always does. The guy put up 40 points for crying out loud to go along with 10 rebounds and 2 blocks. But for the first time I can remember anyway, the Bulls had a different game plan for Embiid tonight and how they handled him in the paint. Vucevic actually played decently well against Joel, which he has historically always played poorly against him, even back to his Orlando days, which was, being aggressive and defending Embiid in the paint. Not so much in the fourth quarter, but that's because Vucevic got into foul trouble, which limited his ability to defend him. But Vucevic was also putting the moves on Embiid in the post, which we have really yet to see since he's been in a Bulls uniform against Embiid anyway. Not only that, but the Bulls, again, for not having their best defenders and who have been struggling on defense since they've been out, the Bulls actually were doing a great job with their help defense on Embiid. Again, Embiid still got his because he's Joel Embiid, one of the best players in the league, and he's been doing that to every team. But the Bulls were sticking to their assignments and playing aggressively against him. I think something people forget about is that Tobias Harris didn't play in the first 2 games in which the Bulls and Sixers faced off. And the Bulls were fully healthy at that time, except for Patrick Williams, of course. And the Bulls played better basketball tonight in terms of their effort than they did in those last 2 games. For a team that is going to be a challenge in the playoffs, this is encouraging of a sign to see the progress and the confidence knowing that you went toe-to-toe against a Sixers team when you were shorthanded and they were healthy. Now, what went wrong though? Well, really the 13-0 run the Sixers went on the fourth quarter was a big letdown, especially after the Bulls had gone on a run to cut the lead to 4. And then in a matter of minutes, the Sixers were up 17. Ironically, though, the Bulls ended up going on another run and closing the gap back to 4 points. Had they not allowed the Sixers to go on that type of run, they would have put themselves in a really good position to have a good lead in the fourth quarter as the game started to wind down. The other factor was that the Bulls continued to struggle shooting from deep. And when you have 2 of your best 3-point shooters in Lonzo Ball and Zach Lavine out, you're going to struggle from 3. But this was yet another game in which the Bulls shot below 30%, 7 for 26 from 3, while they allowed the Sixers to go 12 for 24 from deep. That kind of massive swing isn't going to put you in a good position to win. And I think the thing that frustrated me the most about this was the fact that the Bulls continued to hoist up threes when their outside shot clearly was not working for them. Matt Thomas tonight, a guy who the Bulls really need to step up on the scoring front, especially since he can't play defense. But with the Bulls being down so many of their scorers, you need someone like Thomas to come in and give you some production. But no, he was 1 for 7 tonight from 3, 2 for 10 from the field overall. And Thomas played 34 minutes in this game. That was a head scratcher for me. There's the fact that Donovan didn't give more minutes to Troy Brown Jr., especially down the stretch when Thomas wasn't hitting his shots. I will say though about Donovan was that it was clear he was well prepared or more prepared and had a game plan against Joel Embiid, unlike the last few times the Bulls went up against the Sixers, even dating to last season. Donovan also made some great adjustments after calling that timeout when the Sixers went on that 13-0 run in the fourth quarter and the Bulls came back to cut the lead to 4 after being down 17. But anyway, so the 3-point shooting was an issue. And then finally, outside of DeRozan and Vucevic, the Bulls didn't get much help on the offensive end. Actually, Javonte Green had a solid night on offense, scoring 17 points. He was 5 for 6 and 6 for 6 from the line, but most of this game was just heavily relying on DeMar to do his thing, which he definitely did do his thing. But when the offense is just centered around ISO plays set up for DeRozan and the ball and player movement is stagnant, the Bulls aren't going to be able to get guys involved, and too much reliance on DeRozan doesn't make for high-pace, high-flow offense that the Bulls have been so much more productive with. DeMar was incredible tonight, though. Dude was ridiculous. 18 for 30 from the field. I believe they said it was his career high in terms of field goals made in a game. DeRozan did cap a season high of 45 points. He also had 9 rebounds and 7 assists, a near triple-double. He was just doing everything for the Bulls tonight, and without him, this game would have been an absolute blowout. Vucevic also had a solid game. Like I said at the top of the video, the thing that impressed me with Vucevic the most was how well he held himself against Embiid, which we've kind of always seen him be a little soft against some of these best, centers in the league. Vucevic's shooting from deep is still lagged, but he had 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. He was 8 for 18 from the floor as well. Dosunmu, also great tonight with his ball handling, court vision, and strong defense. Hasn't been as efficient on offense more recently with his higher usage, but the thing that you have to be most impressed with about Ayo is the increased confidence you are seeing with him from every passing game. The fact that he's a rookie and running the offense and doing so well is such an encouraging sight to see if you're a Bulls fan. And then tonight, how about that poster he had on Andre Drummond that was eerily similar to the game winner against the Pacers the other night? And I'm sure you guys all saw the near poster he had on Joel Embiid, but he of course missed the dunk. I don't even care that he missed the dunk. Like, yes, it would have been epic had he been able to throw that one down on Embiid, and it likely would have been a dunk of the year. But it's the fact that as a rookie, he even had the confidence to try and throw one down on Embiid and making those types of scoring drives to the basket. I know I might get some heat for saying this, and I know it's a little too much of recency bias to even claim it, but I was already starting to show better handles and driving to the basket than Lonzo Ball does. I'm not saying Ayo is better than Lonzo. I know some people are going to take that statement and run with it, just saying that Ayo has already started showing some better capabilities and skills necessary for a point guard than what we have already seen from Lonzo Ball. Anyway, when you look at the Bulls lineup and who was playing tonight, it makes you wonder how they even remained close in this one with how limited they were off the bench. Malcolm Hill and Matt Thomas got the most minutes off the bench. That says all you need to know with how depleted this Bulls team is right now. And it's not going to get any easier with the Bulls right back at it tomorrow night against the best team in the league in the Phoenix Suns. Hopefully, the Bulls can at least get Zach LaVine or Coby White back because they're going to need all the scoring help they can get against the best offensive team in the league in the Suns. I'll have my Bulls Weekly preview video out tomorrow talking about all the upcoming games, so be on the lookout for that. As always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.